If you walk to a tandoor wala today, one roti would cost you around 15 to 20 rupees in major cities like Karachi, Islamabad, Lahore, Peshawar and Quetta, depending on which area you're in. It's hard to imagine that just 14 years ago, roti cost about 3 rupees. If you feel like your money isn't going quite as far as it used to, well, here's why. The reason is inflation. The overused term describes a gradual rise in the price of goods and services and a slow decline in the purchasing power of your money over a period. In July this year, Pakistan's annual inflation rate increased to 24.9%. Just a month later in August, it spiked to 27.3%. That's the highest rate since May of 1975. But it's not just Pakistan. The global inflation rate is predicted to reach 8.7% in 2022. According to an IMF report, the average global cost of living has risen more in the 18 months since the start of 2021 than it did during the preceding 5 years combined. The report finds food and energy prices to be the main drivers of this inflation. The steadily rising prices associated with inflation can be caused in two main ways. Let's first look at demand pull inflation. As the name suggests, the price of a good or service surges when there's an increased demand but a stagnant supply. Remember when the pandemic forced us to stay indoors? The demand for socially distant activities and gadgets saw an uptick. The Nintendo Switch gaming system almost doubled on some secondary markets because the company could not increase production since the factories were closed due to COVID-19. On the other hand, gas prices across the globe are on the rise, and you may have heard economists, governments, and even the media blame it on the Russia-Ukraine war reducing gas supply in the global market. Well, that's cost-push inflation, when the supply of a good or service is limited in some way, but the demand remains the same. It pushes up the price. Economists attribute the current high global inflation rate to a combination of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war. In Pakistan's case, economists and political instability add economic policies to the mix.